Hey, what's good everybody? My name's Jeeves and I'm here to bring you a new video. My last video, the 10 Thralls versus 10 Tyrande Whisperwinds, was a pretty big success. I got a lot of good feedback in the comments from you guys. It seemed like the most popular opponent for Thrall, now that he's the champion, was King Varian Wrynn. So I went ahead and I spawned in 10 King Varian Wrynns, the King of Stormwind, to fight the War Chief Thrall. So, again, I turned all the Thralls into Alliance Thralls. And, let me introduce our fighters. So, obviously, over here we have Thrall, 5.5 million health, 127,000 mana. Thrall auto attacks and has Chain Lightning that hits up to 3 targets. King Varian Wrynn, King of Stormwind, also has 5.5 million health, no mana, and his abilities consist of Whirlwind and Heroic Leap. So Whirlwind hits all enemies around him, and Heroic Leap, Heroic Leap hit? Let me see. I think Heroic Leap only hits 3. Oh, it actually hits all enemies within 5 yards. And it stuns them. So that's, yeah. So, I think King Varian Wrynn is going to be victorious. Obviously, let me know who you think is going to be victorious in the comments. Whoever wins, make sure to let me know in the comments who you think should fight that person. Obviously, that would be different. Like if King Varian Wrynn is victorious, you would suggest somebody else versus if Thrall wins. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all the Thralls into Horde Thralls, and we'll get the fight started. Alright, as you can see, I've turned all the Thralls back into Horde Thralls. The reason why they're not attacking each other is because I set them all to stay. So they can't move unless they're aggroed. So, and they can't aggro each other, they can only aggro players. So I'm going to pull the Thralls to me by making myself, right now I'm invisible, I'm going to make myself visible, pull them to me, and then the Varian Wrynns will start attacking them. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 2 of the Classic WoW Fighting Championships. Thrall, the War Chief, versus King Varian Wrynn, King of Stormwind. Alright, here we go. Made myself invisible again. So now they're all attacking each other. That seems like a really good way to pull them. It's kind of hard to tell right off the bat. There's a lot more Varian Wrynns over here, and there's a lot more Thralls over here. Is this one Thrall? Yeah, this is only one. There's one Thrall over here fighting against all these kings. So he's probably going to die pretty quickly. Maybe I didn't pull them the best. I noticed from the Tyrande and Thrall video, so like they don't attack each other after I set them to stay. But when I log in, they automatically attack each other, and that might affect the result of the fight. So depending on how this fight goes, I might log out and log back in and see if we get a different result. Just out of curiosity. I don't see the King Varian Wrynn's heroic leaping, or I don't even see them using whirlwind at all. But I definitely see the Thralls using Chain Lightning. So like if King Varian Wrynn isn't using any of his abilities, then obviously they would lose. Yeah. Oh, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and make a little time lapse, and I'll speed it up, and we'll come back when something changes. Alright, it's looking like we're going to have a Thrall and a King Varian Wrynn die around the same time. But when this Thrall dies, a lot of these kings are going to come over here and start fighting. Yeah, oh no. Okay, I think one of them just reset. So yeah, since that just happened, I'm going to go ahead. Well, if I log out, they'll still be... I wonder if me logging out would reset them. Well, I think a lot of the Thralls just reset health. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna log real quick. So I relogged and it didn't reset them. I think I'm gonna manually reset them all and hope that I can hold them in a better way. Actually, I don't know. You know, I'm gonna let this run. I'm gonna let this run to the end and see who wins. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just time lapse it until we know who wins this round. We can start doing rounds. Actually, that'd be a good idea. So we'll call this round 1. Maybe we do. I don't want to do 5 rounds like real fighting championships, but I might do 3. Just time lapse them all. But yeah, I'll go ahead and time lapse now, and we'll see who wins this round. Alright, so as we can see here, the War Chief has won the first round. I'm going to go ahead and turn them all into Alliance real quick. Because I think the way I'm doing this is not working very well. I think I need to see how they're all like spread out in a line. I don't think that's very good because if they're all fighting in the middle, it gives the NPC time to run back to where it came from. And depending on how far that is, I think the chance of them resetting health is higher. So I'm going to rearrange them for round 2. I mean, I think Thrall's going to win because I don't see any of the King Varian Wrynns using Whirlwind. I thought if they used Whirlwind, that would greatly affect the outcome of the fight. They're also not using Heroic Leap, so which is also an extra ability for them to use, but they're just not using their abilities. I don't know. I don't understand why. If I can figure out how to fix that, or maybe they only do it to players. But you'd think that the Thrall, like if that was the case, then Thrall would only use Chain Lightning on players as well. But they're casting Chain Lightning like crazy. And there's no pushback on Chain Lightning because he's a boss, right? So yeah. I'm gonna move them around a little bit. So I'm gonna cut to that, and hopefully we can have a more fair round. All right, here we go. Okay, so I turned all the Thralls back into Horde. I made them all they're all standing a lot closer to each other. And I figured out how to make them fight each other without using my character. So with just using a command, I can make it to where they all fight each other. So I'm going to select one of the Thralls in the middle. And when I hit the button, they should all start fighting with each other. So this will be round 2. And hopefully this round is a little bit more fair. And I mean, I don't think the King Varian Wrynns are going to use Whirlwind at all. So it's looking like Thrall's going to remain our champion, but that'll just we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out, right? All right, so this is round 2. Ding ding, here we go. Yeah, look at that. Much better fighting formation. Let's see. I'll do a little time lapse. Let's see if I can make it to where I can see the health bars a little better. Still can. Still pretty bunched up. Go ahead and leave it like this for now. We'll do a little time lapse. Here we go. All right, it's looking like one of the Thralls will be the first to go down. There he goes. We've also got a King Varian Wrynn that's really close to dying. So, I mean, it's looking a little bit more even. Did that Varian Wrynn die already? Yeah, there he is right there. Okay. All right. Let's see how this plays out. Let's see if it remains this even. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Thrall, the War Chief, has defeated King Varian Wrynn. So I've decided during that last time lapse that I think a good system would be we do 3 rounds and we just do a best 2 out of 3. So Thrall has won 2 rounds against King Varian Wrynn, so we're not even going to do the 3rd one. That's it right there. Thrall is our reigning and defending champion in the Classic WoW Fighting Championships. Let me know who you think can defeat the War Chief. I think the reason why Thrall won is because King Varian Wrynn was not using Whirlwind or Heroic Leap. If you look on Wowhead, those are the two abilities that it says King Varian Wrynn has. Here, let me just go ahead and do that. So I think if King Varian Wrynn was actually using Whirlwind, it'd be a much different result. But that's just not how the fight went. So yeah, let me know. So now we're gonna have Thrall face somebody else, and we're also gonna have a losers bracket. So King Varian Wrynn is gonna have to fight Tyrande Whisperwind, the High Priestess of Elune. So yeah, I think that's how we're gonna do it. I've seen a few comments asking me to put Thrall and Varian up against certain world bosses. I think what I want to do with that is I think I'd rather put world bosses against world bosses or raid bosses against raid bosses first. And like, you know how in real life fighting organizations there's like weight divisions. I think we should do something similar. So like we have the faction leaders fight each other first, and we figure out who the strongest one is. And then we have the world bosses fight each other, raid bosses fight each other, the dungeon bosses fight each other. And we have like these sort of divisions, and then we can have fights between divisions. Like maybe an example would be like how many Varian Wrynns does it take to defeat Arthas, you know, something like that. So that's the idea I've got going on right now. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 2 of the Classic WoW Fighting Championships. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, have a good one. Peace.